Hi, I'm Jessica Nova, and you're watching Geek Girls Review. Hi! Welcome again. It's me, Justice Sarah Sanderson, all over again, and today we are going to review Hocus Pocus 2. So before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe, so you never miss any of our content. So let's get right into it. I loved it. It took me until, I think Monday to watch it. So it was, I believe it was released on Friday. Maybe it was released on Thursday. I don't know. I don't, facts. You know. Also, spoilers. We are going to be talking about the movie. I'm not going to go out of my way to spoil it, but I'm sure I will end up saying a spoiler. Well, yeah, I know that I will, because I have to talk about it. So, now that you've been warned, let's chat. I waited, and everybody that knows me, you can hear one of my cats. That's Thor whining. He wants in, and you know, well, he has his thoughts about the movie too. So most of my friends that know me were very interested to know what I thought. So I wanted to take my time, because I wanted to relieve some of the, not excitement, but I wanted to relieve some of the expectation of what I would think. And so even though I had heard great things throughout the weekend, I reserved judgment. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know that I was, even though I really, you know, if you've watched the channel, you saw my reaction to the trailer, but by the time I actually got into it, I tried to go in with no expectation, because I didn't want to be disappointed. I kind of wanted to enjoy it for what it was. I put in my head that even though I had enjoyed the trailer, that the movie wasn't being made for me, you know, necessarily as a fan and a nostalgic, well, just longtime fan. I didn't want to feel like the movie, I didn't want it to have to do anything for me to find it enjoyable. But even with that kind of low bar expectation, I was blown away. I ended up crying definitely like pretty hard once, and it went through a good little bit of the end of the movie. And I thought that the movie took such an unexpected turn. Even having seen the teaser and the trailer and hearing bits, kind of what the story was, I still felt very surprised in the direction that it ended up going. That being said, you know how I feel about teasers and trailers and revealing too much, and I kind of thought they did. Now that I've seen the movie, I was like, I think it had enough misdirection. Obviously, I still enjoyed it and I found it fresh, but by the time we got to the moment that I'm referring to, which I'm not going to tell you, it felt goofy. It felt like now it doesn't have as much of a place in the movie. It felt a little, it wrapped up nicely, but in that moment I was like, oh, this kind of feels like a plot device. And that wasn't, so much of the movie didn't necessarily feel that way. My one major complaint, and I enjoy them, and I enjoy all of the musical number when they're brought back to life. Even though I kind of enjoy the remix, it felt like it was really trying to capture that I put a spell on you moment, but also knowing that it couldn't. You know, it pokes fun at itself enough through the other actors to, sorry, wig. It pokes enough fun at itself to not be too obtuse kind of about it, but it's also, it's not a great moment. Luckily it doesn't go on long, so that first number is fine. I think that is a moment for the younger audience to enjoy it. There's a little music, there's, for a generation that has not seen Hocus Pocus, this is a great way to kind of introduce, try to introduce these sisters that won't get younger in this movie, and I love that. I was glad they didn't do any weird CGI, at least not that I could tell, and I thought that it was very gracefully done. I thought that everybody was allowed to look their age without, and while it still had to kind of fit the mythos of Winifred being vein. I actually really love that. I think Sarah doesn't seem to have as much problem. You know, you kind of think she's going to be the one. In some ways, it's like, oh, I've got to be young and beautiful. And of course, there's that, but she seems to not be as fussed with it. It's also not really the main thing. Beauty and vanity and all that really isn't the main goal. I think changing the way that they use Winifred craving power in a way to move the story along that feels genuine to the character and then allows for the very beautiful ending. I thought it was great. I thought it was actually very well written. I thought it felt authentic. I thought the characters felt, even while a little bit cheesy and a little bit like, okay, you're reaching there to get that joke, but there was enough charm to move through those corny and not really in a good way moments. The overall film had pretty good pacing. I thought the pacing was, sorry, itchy. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I never felt bored, and if you've watched my Monsters review, you kind of know that I have a willingness to be bored in a franchise that you would assume I love. But and if you haven't watched the Monsters, maybe, well, watch the review. Anyhow, there's another moment that I do think does a better job of capturing that nostalgia without necessarily trying to do the I put a spell on you scene, but also, again, kind of hitting enough of the bells and whistles to make you feel that moment while also not. It's a complex feeling. I don't think I ever truly experienced that nostalgic feeling in a way that, you know, you kind of want to assume, like, I didn't feel that same way I did when I was a kid, but I got to see characters that I loved as a kid feel grounded in a new story. They felt, even in a lot of ways, more fleshed out. I liked what they did with Billy, which is kind of what you always suspect, but the way that it's done, I thought was very nice. And I really love the aspect where the sisters, Sarah and Mary, both get a little bit of a spine. That's part of the story, I think, is, you know, after this long of time, I want them to kind of stand up to Winifred a bit. And it makes the ending even more emotional and soft. And being the eldest of three sisters, Winifred was always my favorite, and the one that I identified with in a way, because, yeah, she was the oldest. She was the oldest. And also, the other two seemed to have a lot more camaraderie, and that was the same thing in my family. So to have this ending the way that it is, and it's very soft, and it's very true to what my experience was in ways with my sisters in that relationship, that it just made me, I guess, warm and fuzzy in a way that didn't feel nostalgic, but felt very genuine. So I think if you're looking for a genuine kind of feel-good Halloween movie, even if you're not a huge Hocus Pocus fan, I think that you would like this. I think that I do think it does a great job of both wrapping up the original movie, and so that they could do more with the new characters if they wanted to, which I think could be fun. And let's face it, they probably are. And I have seen an article floating around that says the next Hocus Pocus movie is not what you think it is. Anyhow, we waited so long on this one, who knows? But I thought that it did that while also kind of reinvigorating the franchise in a way that dusts off the charm, moves you through the characters that you knew into characters that you can now know, and still feel fresh. And I think that all that is very difficult to do. As, again, if you've watched my Monsters review, you will know, even it can be charming and bad. And this blew me away with how much I enjoyed it, and how fresh and fun and silly and smile-evoking I found it. And I think that it is a great addition to the Hocus Pocus mythos. And I have to say, the actress that plays Winifred, young Winifred in the beginning, is astounding. Is such a joy to watch this actor, this actor be Bette Midler's Winifred, you know, in a way that is both like clearly studied. I think that there's a lot of skill in that talent right there, but also just the ability to step into such a big role. How intimidating. And it doesn't feel like it skips a beat. And I think that moment alone sold me. I went, I love this. I think this is going to be very fun. And there's some plot holes that I think are a little whatever, but so the first one has that too. So definitely check it out. If you are a Hocus Pocus fan, I think you will love Hocus Pocus too. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Or like and subscribe. I never know which way it goes. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at The Jessica Nova. I think that's backwards. The Jessica Nova? Something like that. And if you really like me, you can check me out on mygeekglory.com. You have to be 18 and up. Okay. Until next time. Bye.